So you're selling your home and you want to get the most out of it. Well, I'm going to give you the 7 tips that I've learned after selling 1,000 homes in the last 10 years. And by the way, my name's Chad Leonberg and I run a local real estate team here in the Tampa area. So if we can help you in any way, buy or sell any real estate, feel free to hit us up in the contact info below. All right, so number 1 is your front landscaping. And let me be clear before I get into this. A lot of these you might already know, but this is just to give you, I've found it's not finding new information, it's making sure that you are mastering the information that's out there. And this is just me growing as a human and as a real estate agent, as an entrepreneur. So you selling your home is no different. I say front landscaping, but I've shown a lot of houses. There's a lot of people that don't do anything to their front landscaping. Something as simple as putting new mulch out, making sure the things are trimmed up. That front entrance, that feeling of coming in, you're welcoming them into the house. Your home is a product, right? You need to think of that first experience, that everything they see along the way is going to give them a higher price value. And if you start off up here, you're kind of starting ahead. So make sure you get the front, the curb appeal as cheaply as possible. You are selling, but make sure you get that up to the best standard that you can have. Number 2, this should go without saying, but professional pictures. Whether you're selling yourself or selling with a real estate agent, if you don't have professional pictures, this is like one of the number 1 needle movers. However, I will save my biggest one for the end, but you've got to have professional photos. Think about it. When you're on eBay and you see products that, crappy pictures, it's grainy, it's not well presented. And then you just go to Apple's website, go look at Apple and look how it's, everything is like super sleek and well represented and lighting. And, even though we put the cases on the phone anyway, we never get to see the phone, but that looks good on there. It looks like it's worth more money. So that your house should be the same thing. I used to have in our listing presentation, we had a listing that we took over from an agent who had taken pictures with her phone, and then we had our professional pictures. And what I did was I put them side by side, and you could, I asked the sellers, I said, which one looks like it's worth more? It's the same home, they can see it's the same home, but the one with the professional photos looks like it's worth more. And when buyers consider buying a home, they go home and they click through the photos. Like when you're buying a car, you go home and you click through the photos, or an iPhone even, you click through the photos, or whatever it is, you click through the photos. So make sure those photos look like it's worth more. So it's like unconsciously selling them at a higher price if the photos look better. Number 3, do not be there for the showing. Even if you're selling by owner, find a system, find an electronic way for them to get it. Like every time the seller is there for the showings, one of the 2 things happens. The buyer there's a vibe, it's off. It's like, it feels like everybody wants to buy and nobody wants to be sold. And they feel like they're being sold when the person who wants to sell the product, the owner, is there. I mean, real estate, it's very different in the fact, especially with real estate agents, how you kind of have your representative. They don't feel as much of like a salesperson. So it's very emotional, very emotional. Residential real estate is a very emotional process. So every time we see sellers stay in the house or talk to the buyers, it just creates a not sale. I don't know how else to say it. This is just through experience and selling 1,000 plus homes. But just get out of the house. If you're gonna list, plan a couple day trip. Maybe go stay with somebody for a few days so you can just stack those showings in there. But do not be at the showings and do not talk to the buyers as much as possible. So get out for the showings. Number 4, turn all the lights on. I know you're paying the electric bill, but again, this is all about presentation and what the perceived value of the home is. So I've been in showings when it's dark and it just doesn't feel welcoming. It doesn't feel like the home's for sale. It feels like you're entering somebody else's house, like you're breaking and entering. So turn all the lights on in the entire house for every single showing. Leave them on if you have multiple showings. Pay the electric bill. You'll get way more than that back in the value whenever you do get an offer. Leave the lights on. Number 5, and you've probably heard this one before, it's de-personalize. This doesn't just mean take pictures, and you don't have to go crazy with this, especially if you're still living there. Just make it, not like if there's an entire collage of pictures on a wall that's like, this is our family tree or this is our house, it doesn't give that welcoming, like I'm here for sale vibe. It gives that you're in my house vibe. And I'm sorry to tell you, but the you're in my house vibe, oh, it's my house and it doesn't matter. They should want to buy my house because it's a solid house and I did this, and that. That stuff doesn't work. You need to make go into a new construction home and look how the lights are on, like the model homes. The lights are on, it's welcoming. Obviously, there's no personalization. They know how to sell a home. I'm trying to help you do that too. So depersonalize as much as you can. You still have to live there. It's okay if you have a photo or 2 around. That's okay, but it's just if you have a barrage, an entire wall, and everything very, tons of names and stuff like that. They give you, if they feel like they're entering your life, you need to depersonalize. Number 6, tidy up. But what I mean by tidy up is not just clean. Every house we have ever listed, we take a week, and fortunately, we do the things that we always wish we had, done. We we put like these, this little kind of accent wall with like coat hangers, and it gave us like a little coat rack entry on our one house. And I wish we always had that when we lived there. Of course we do it at the end, but touch up paint. Go around and hit the trim and the walls. Just those little things matter. The attention to detail. If there's something that you need to fix and spruce up in the backyard, just do those last minute things that those little things. Again, it's all about presentation. So even if this is just running around the trim and touching up all the nicks and all that stuff along the trim, make sure you go around and do that. We always hate when we list our house and it's like perfect condition and we've been living there for years and we didn't leave it like that, but that's kind of what you got to do. And I understand because we've done it a few times ourselves. But number 7, and it's the biggest deal, and it's probably not overly surprising to you, but I want to explain it a different way than you might have heard before, is the right price. There's 2 schools of thought for pricing. There's price it high for negotiation and price it right to sell. And here's how it works. If you're fishing, right, and you dangle the bait too high from the fish are down here, they're not going to bite. It's too high, right? If you put it right here where they'll just come up enough, right, that's where you'll want it. If you put it in there, right, they would bite, but you could have gotten a little bit higher up. You couldn't have had to drop the line as much. And if you go below them, they might miss it. They might think there's something wrong with it, is what it is. So it's very, very much like that. And it's where you really want an expert analysis of your home and how it should, sell in today's market, not just, past comps and stuff like that. You need to really analyze what's the inventory look like? What's the average days on market? Is it going up? Is it going down? There's a lot of subtleties and nuances when it comes to pricing. However, that said, throwing it high for negotiation, typically that happens when somebody's throwing it 50 grand over what they should throw it at. And then what happens is they have to lower the price 50 grand, and then it's been sitting on the market for longer than the norm, and buyers start asking themselves, what's wrong with the house? I have been through it so many times. So if you're in a market where the average days on market is a little longer, it's probably an inventory issue, and you actually need to price it competitively. So I don't believe in kind of anything in a box, coaching in a box, advice in a box. Your situation is unique. It always is, and it always will be. So there's times where you can push the price. There's hot markets, and you can do that. And there's times where you need to pull the price, and you need to be competitive. So it really depends on your unique situation. However, that said, this price it high so they'll negotiate, that's typically from people that are asking too much for their home. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. We've definitely sold a lot of real estate over the years and coached agents to sell real estate, and just been in the space, and we've sold 6 or so houses personally. So I hope that was helpful for you. If you can, please like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to give you more tips and local advice about the Tampa Bay real estate market and things to do in the area. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you around.